It's 21 years since ultimate flying disc first took its place at the World Games, when the USA took home silver medals from Attica in Japan behind Canada. Since then, the Americans have been a dominant force, taking home golds from Duisburg, Kaohsiung, Calais and Wrocław. Australia have a bronze and 2 silvers to their name. Can the green and gold go one better now? Welcome to Birmingham, Alabama, the John Carroll High School Stadium for the gold medal match. I'm Tom Stiles alongside Czech international Raquel Tochnerova. And Raquel, it's despite the incredible global growth of ultimate in recent years, there's a rich history of the sport at the World Games.
That's right, Tom. This is the 6th appearance of our beloved flying disc at the World Games, ultimate being previously featured only once before that as the exhibition sport in 1989. All previous 5 events saw just 6 teams in the competition based on the top 5 countries from the previous year's World Ultimate Championships in all 3 divisions, men's, women's and mixed, plus, of course, the host country. This year, for the first time, the tournament has been expanded to 8 teams.
Yeah, and 5 years ago in Wrocław, those 6 teams were all in one pool, where the Aussies eventually took home the 4th place, narrowly missing out on a medal. The USA, on the other hand, took gold against Colombia. But this year, with 8 teams, we've got a very, very different format.
That's right. We started the tournament with 2 pools of 4, out of which the top 2 then advanced directly to the semis against a crossover opponent from the other pool. And the controversial twist on this year's final, Tom, is that neither of these teams have originally topped their pools. The US, as most of you have already noticed, had a big upset in their group, losing to Germany 13-10. Australia, on the other hand, lost in their pool game against Colombia 13-11, which determined who they were going to meet in the semis.
Yeah, and what a great pair of semi-finals we had yesterday. The USA playing Colombia. USA got off to the dream start, scoring the first 3 points, and held the Colombians back for the whole rest of the game, despite some impressive disc skills from Valeria Cardenas. Claire Trope was unstoppable in the end zone for the USA. Caroline Finney had her strongest game and took the USA safely through. For Australia and Germany, though, a different story.
That was an absolute nail-biter. A chance for a European team to compete for gold. I mean, talk about a fairy tale ending for Cinderella there. Unfortunately for European fans, Australia put an end to the winning streak of the Germans, making incredible use of their tall male matchups in the end zone, such as Rob Andrews, that were surely to see in this game as well. Taking the game on Universe with Liv Carr finishing the clean offensive hold for Australia, making it straight to the final. Talking about the male and female matchups here, Tom, it's worth mentioning for the history nerds that the first 3 World Game tournaments in Ultimate were played with only 6 players per side.
Yeah, 3 men, 3 women, and this time round we've got mixed Ultimate, so 3 of one gender, 4 of the other. And we're playing the ABBA rule here, so the first point will be 4 men and 3 women. Second point will be the other way round. And the following point the same, and then the go back to. It alternates every other point, and also we can tell which gender's got more on the line by which gender is pulling. So if there's 4 women on the line, it will be a woman pulling. If there's 4 men on the line, it'll be a man pulling.
And it will be 4 men to start us off in this game. Australia taking on the favorites, the reigning champions out of the USA.
Yeah, the home side advantage with the crowd G'd up and ready to go. The party atmosphere is well swinging away. The consolation matches earlier in the day and the bronze medal match just gone. And here we are with the gold. USA and Australia. USA in the blue shirts, you see them. You see Nate Goff, Dylan Freechild, Jack Williams, coach Matty Sang with the cap on. Back to us, just giving the team the final talk.
Appearing for the first time in the head coaching capacity for Team US. And it seems like he's been doing a fine job, making sure that this is not a sprint, but a marathon.
He has had his coaching work cut out. There's a starting 7. Sally Yeo, Kyle O, Mish Phillips, Georgia Egan-Griffiths, Rob Andrews, Ali Alex Ladamatos, Alex Shepherd will be our first 7 for the green and gold of the Aussie Crocs. Anna Rigacki, head coach. Strong mental game, and they've shown real resilience. Tough first game against France, which they took by 1 point on Universe. And they've had close games throughout, only beating Japan by 2 and losing to Colombia by 2, and then winning in that Universe point matchup in the semi-final yesterday against the Germans. The Australians deserving a place here in this gold medal match.
And also playing with great spirit, Tom. The total average for the Australian team now being 11.25, so well over the average. The Australians currently taking second spot in the spirit ranking for this tournament.
A slightly different story for the USA. They're currently bottom of the pile in the spirit rankings. A couple of testy games. As we were saying previously, Matty Sang has had his work cut out this week. Tough game against Great Britain, which they ended up winning quite comfortably, but there was some difficult moments in that one. And then that loss to the Germans, as we see the Australians being introduced to the crowd. Alex Shepherd on screen for us in the 99 shirt. In front of him, Tom Tulett and Kat Phillips, and Alex Ladamatos getting the introduction to the crowd right now. 5
Alexes on this Aussie squad, but here is the starting 7 for the US. Payne, Freechild, Lindsley, Goff, Williams, Normile and Trope.
We'll see a lot of Claire Trope, been a dominant force for the USA this week. 14 stats, 11 goals and 3 assists for the youngster, the youngest member of this USA squad. But it's an all-star line for the Stars and Stripes. Kayla Helton gets the introduction to the crowd. One of the hardest working members of this squad on her fitness, absolutely annihilating everyone in the first trial and really stamping her place in this squad.
Determination in the eyes of the players, very, very apparent. They're loving the crowd. They're going to work it all game long. And that's just another aspect of the game. It is what counts as well when you're out there trying to get all of your energy exerted at the right moment. The home crowd could be a huge advantage.
Freechild getting the crowd animated. You see Finney really came into her strongest form in the semi-final. Her deadly flicks really opening up the play for the USA. Khalif Al-Salam takes the slaps of the USA team. See Chris Kocher there, devastating with his reset defense yesterday, really taking away a lot of the options that the Germans have been using throughout the tournament.
Last 2 minutes for these teams to really take in all the glory, all the love that the crowds are giving them, until they will have to refocus completely on the task at hand, which is the fight for the glory of the winners of the flying disc competition at the World Games 2022.
The heat in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. It's been a mixed week for the weather, but there hasn't really been much wind for the teams to worry about, but the temperatures have been high.
I'm going to call it a success, Tom. We have had 0 games canceled. We played out all of them. We streamed most of them. And I think everyone got their fair share of game time, play time. And I think these players have enjoyed the tournament to the fullest, regardless of the final standing.
It has been a great occasion. World Games is the pinnacle of flying disc, ultimate flying disc sport. The trial process for some folks has been interrupted by the pandemic. Big differences in the geographies for the teams training. Australia having to bring their players together from across the mighty nation.
And more importantly, from the Australian winter, meaning they're coming from the dark and cold into this heat of Alabama, mid of summer. but it seems like they've managed to adjust quite well.
Yeah, they had quite an extensive tour of the East Coast, meeting up with a few teams.
In North Carolina, I believe.
Yeah, in preparation, trying to adjust to the heat, trying to get some intensity. They had a couple of matches in Atlanta as well on their way here. The USA played a couple of warm-up tournaments, particularly interesting games at Poultry Days against the Canadian sides, where both teams were using that tournament as a preparation.
But again, Matty Tsang has mentioned in his pre-tournament interview that he has focused, when he was putting the team together, on not individual qualities in terms of star players, but he was choosing people that would be the most adaptable players in terms of gelling quickly with the team. And they have really proven this throughout the tournament, stepping up their force as a unit.
Yes, they've come together at the right time. They've had difficult moments. It's not been a straightforward journey to the final for the USA, but they've looked unstoppable in parts and the strongest form. As the disc goes up and flies high, the World Games Ultimate Flying Disc Competition gold medal match is underway in the backfield for the USA. And a big bid comes in straight away. Contact made.
That was Sally Yu coming through with a big bid.
Williams pops it to Freechild. Zone defensive look from the green and gold of Australia. Gets the disc across to Opie Payne. Back to Freechild. Lindsley cutting forward. Nice flick forward to Trope. Finding the gaps through. And a transition of defence to a one-on-one mark from the Australians. Might have been a few exposed players, but they've quickly fallen into line. Looking for deep shots. Payne was free in the end zone. Couldn't find the disc. Big reaching grab from Williams.
Little discussion about whether Williams managed to keep his feet in. Good stopping of set play by the Australians at the start of the point.
We often see this defensive strategy of setting up a zone to prevent big shots going deep, which is what the Americans are so good at. But then once the disc starts to move down the field, transitioning to that more traditional one-on-one mark. Shepherd marking. Williams back to Freechild. Pops it forward to Finney. Finney threatens the shot down the line, but doesn't throw it. Stallcat getting high. Nice reset to Williams, who continues the cut to Freechild. Freechild at the front of the end zone. USA.
What a dribble action from Freechild. That was some lovely piece of end zone offense. Finney opening up the right side with an offhand lefty high release right over the back of her mark. And here is the quick dish into the end zone for Freechild. Jumps it in. First score for the US.
Freechild, one of the most agile players, the quick change of direction, never really know which way he's going to go. Powerful start from the USA. Clean hold. When we refer to holds and breaks in Ultimate, similar to tennis, we expect the team that starts with the disc, they want to hold on to the disc and score the point. The defensive line, they're trying to get the disc off them and score themselves.
Isla Helton with the first pull for the US. She had to try out 3 times for the World Games team, which just shows her huge perseverance. Third time the charm. She's here in the final with the next pull for the US.
He's had an outstanding performance all week, Helton. Tulip, watch this from Tulip. Every time he catches that disc in the centre of the field, he'll just take a moment to look at it. Big bid coming in.
Helton and Cat Phillips is going to be one of the most amazing matchups the world has seen.
Gann pops it back to Tulip. Prentice cut from the Australia was looked off. Gann threatens the deep shot. El Salam trying to dart around and take away the reset pass, but Gan gets it out. Tulit catches. Egan Griffiths. Georgia Egan Griffiths looks up the line. Resets back to Prentice. Prentice, low shot forwards. It's in the hands of Kat Phillips. Huge stats from Kat Phillips. Oh, really impressive defensive movement from El Salam there, taking away that first pass option, then comes back to put the pressure on. Just spoiling the Australian offensive plan.
Australia really forced to work their handlers hard. But as long as they don't make a mistake, it's not really a big deal. If they're able to take as many passes as they want, they might just tire out the US defense.
Both sides really working hard. It's going to be a test of strategy, a test of tactics, a test of persistence. Floaty shot over the top. Low disc. Caught in stride, and a pick called. Egan Griffiths with the disc. Meckstroth taps it in. Reset back to Prentice, across to Gan. Now Tulit's available, big gain of yards for the Aussies. Low release, manages to get it to McGuckin. McGuckin resets, clever disc, opens up a bit of space. Phillips comes out of the end zone, sends it in, McGuckin's there, oh, doesn't connect. It was too easy for McGuckin. He's been collecting the discs in the end zone all week. He's been so impressive. 10 goals this week, but the easiest one, perhaps the most important one. It's gone the other way. Meckstroth chasing it down at the other end. And it goes onto the floor. Australia let off the hook. They worked so hard to get up the field, Raquel.
They did, and it was quite impressive. I loved that shot. The receiver was completely free in the end zone. Just like we said, just an unfortunate wobble, trying for the second chance just above the ground, unable to get there. But luckily for Australia, the US give it back on an overshot deep throw. Tulit gets the disc back in front of their own end zone.
Archer on the mark. Tulit centres. Phillips, quick 1-2. Real hard cut from Gan. This is better from the Australians. Phillips has a look at that shot again. Gan's gone deep. Going to have to go back to Prentice. Prentice, real smart movement there, just pushing the mark away and then cutting back for the reset. Tulit's having to work hard to get free of Kocher. The hammer goes up. Kat Phillips underneath. On the edge of the field, just drifting away from Kayla Halton and found with the hammer. It's a hold, not the clean hold that Australians were wanting, but a hold nevertheless.
It was immediately clear that when Phillips saw Tulit getting the disc in the middle there, she knew she had the whole end zone to work with and really made it so difficult for Halton to do anything about it. It was a throw into the break side, fading away not just from the defender but from Phillips herself, but she was ready for it. Tulit showed where he wanted to put it, and it was a perfect score.
That's a matchup we'll enjoy throughout this game. Phillips and Halton, both incredibly experienced, incredibly powerful athletes, tall, fast, with throws for days and the ability to throw themselves at disc. That's going to be a great match.
Phillips with, of course, a third-time experience, third time a croc, always a croc.
Yeah, she was a standout female player in Wrocław in 2017.
I agree, Tom. The plays a little more evenly spread out throughout the Aussie team this year.
Yeah, strength across the board. Finney, quick start to Freechild. It's a great pull from the Australians. Not meddling with the back of the end zone, as we've seen some discs do. Andrews on the mark. Goff. Oh, that was a wayward disc, but Finney's collected it. Great adjustment and a reaction. Another wayward disc from the USA, collected by Freechild, who's now signalling on the space on the far side of the field. Williams has it. The crowd cheering. They saw Goff sprinting deep in the end zone. It's back with Finney. Finney sends it. Pressure underneath this one. It's rising, but it rises over the top of Adix Ladamatos and into the hands of Nate Goff, who gets the cheers from the crowd. It's amped up, riding their luck a little bit, the Americans.
I said it's going to come down to who has brought the biggest jetpack in this game. Nate Goff, 6'4", 193 centimeters tall. We don't have the exact height for the Australian tall receivers, but it is Goff who's going to come down with it this time. And Finney, can we talk about Finney? She has really found herself in that handler position in the semifinals. She was shooting big throws all over the place, and in this point she had a huge catch first, got involved once again, and put that laser perfectly weighted huck into the end zone once again for the score. Great stuff.
Perhaps playing with fire, shooting across the top of the Australian defence, but it's worked out. It's a fine margin to find that shot, but when you're shooting at Nate Goff, trust us, it says on the arm.
The one interesting thing about these two teams, Tom, is that none of them have a set offense or defense. They will rotate players, so it's up to you to follow closely on your screens and see who's going to do what.
Phillips. The female handlers being marked out by the USA. Egan Griffiths finds a way through to Phillips.
This time it's Claire Trope trying her luck on Phillips.
Opie Payne containing Egan Griffiths. Good movement from the Aussies. They don't get given any space by this USA defense. They're thrown through tight windows. A clash between the two number 10s, Lindsley and Alex Gann. Shepherd. Good battle between Prentice and Finney. And a wayward disc. Opie Payne says no, that's going to the ground. Freechild with an opportunity for the USA, their second turnover. Second chance to score a break against the Aussies. Lindsley, calm. Great cut from Freechild down towards the end zone. It's a little bit close, but Trope reacts. She throws herself at the disc and collects it.
The uncrowned queen of the end zone, Claire Trope, youngest player on this U.S. squad. She seems like she didn't really like that layout. It seems a bit shattered. But see, on the replay, there was a bit of contact. She tripped, still kept her eyes on the disc. Wow, what kind of self-control, body control is that? She hangs onto the disc, lays out. What a scoring machine this woman is.
I think Freechild owes Trope a drink there. I think Trope had already started to go back to cut away from that end zone when the disc went. Real presence and power and determination.
She's a physicist, in case you were wondering. Has played for Seattle Riot as well as Boston Brute Squad. Was really big in Heidelberg at U24s a few years back.
Got a great ultimate CV for one so young. 26 years old.
US with their first break of the game. Their pole goes up once again.
Landing on its edge. Chulip. Floated disc forward to Phillips. Flicks inside. McGuckin. Tulip chasing that one across. Big arm of Tulip opens up. Space to find Prentice in the end zone, who seems to have opened up an entire field to herself with a great cut deep. Australian score in 4 passes. Impressive stuff from the green and gold.
Just what they needed, a quick score point so they don't have to worry about, you know, really struggling on offense. Huge putt by Tulip, really using his entire torso to get that quick enough rotation for the score. Prentice puts the disc up in the air. She's been really big around the disc for the Aussies so far, but she can catch a goal when necessary.
Third goal of the tournament for Prentice.
Also, have we seen Tulip and Kat Phillips on most of the points since the start of the game, Tom? I feel like they've been on for at least 3.
They, Anna Ragaki there in shot. The Australian coach. He's coached almost all of the Australian teams in the system. They all have different animal names. The World Games team is the Crocs as well.
Here's Mish Phillips, the sister of Kat Phillips, going with the pull for Australia. Currently the only one that doesn't belong to either Ellipsis or Sunder on this team. She's played for Fishwick in Australia in her last season after returning to Ultimate.
Big high disc. Oh, Williams getting Mickle's throw out of that sky. Big bid comes in from the Australians, but Normile has it. That's got lots of air underneath it. Pressure. What a grab from Helton, keeping the disc alive. USA playing great team offense here. The throws are wayward, but the grabs are still coming up with discs. Williams back to Mickle. Edge of the end zone. Can they stay calm?
Bit of confusion from the US players, cutting from back and front of the stack at the same time.
Mickle. El Salam is the reset. Into the end zone and a grab. It's Meckstroth. And a call from Phillips. Was there a push away?
The players will have a discussion, joined by the game advisor currently assigned to this game. These people in green shirts are not referees, don't be mistaken. They're solely there to provide perspective when asked for it, or else help with the interpretation of rules in case there are anything
that needs clarifying, in the heat of the action, yeah. Jana Hamaka just interpreting the rules and checking. It was a pick called.
An offensive foul.
A foul called.
The US side disagrees.
In any case, the disc goes back as the call is contested, and the US line up for their end zone offense once more.
O on the mark. Back to Williams. El Salam. Helton comes out. Continuation pass to El Salam. Helton. High grab from Williams. Mickle in the end zone. Cuts away. Finds the space. Williams with a little pass into his path. Celebration from the big man.
And the US doing an excellent job swinging the disc back and forth in front of the end zone. I really liked how they see the break side throw around the mark. That's something that has to be the focus in front of the end zone for the Aussies if they want to stop this so far unstoppable US offense. Like I said, I really liked when the Americans brought out the one extra person out of the stack into the handler space. It seemed like it gave them a little more movement, lateral movement that was necessary to allow for those continuation cuts in the end zone. It worked out well. USA still one break up in this final, Tom.
Matters. we're talking about any of the lines on the ultimate field, sidelines or end zone lines. As long as your first point of contact is inbounds, then that's what matters.
Kocher playing on the club scene with Truck Stop, as well as Pony, has been on the ultimate scene for about 16 years. And given that he is only 30 years old, you can calculate yourself how early on he has started playing around with the disc.
He's been playing for 16 years. Currently playing with Pony alongside Jimmy Mickle. Disc flies high through the Alabama sky.
Disc gets out of bounds at the pole.
And into the hands of Tom Tulip. If the disc lands out of bounds off the pole, it can be brought to the brick mark, which is this mark 18 meters forward of the end zone line. Considering the end zones are 18 meters deep as well, you can see a huge margin can be given away when the disc goes out of bounds. It won't be what the USA are aiming for. Prentice, low release, disc to Phillips. Phillips is off to the races and collects the disc in stride. Resets around a little bit too close for comfort, but safely found. McGuckin resets to a fast-moving Alex Gano, overthrows the receiver. Prentice watches the disc drift into the turf. USA with a second chance. Sorry, their third chance at a break. They missed the first one. They took the second one.
Freechild currently unguarded, still waiting for his defender to approach him.
Downfield to Lindsley. USA threatening Goff with the disc. Back to Lindsley. Got Finney on the swing. Finds her. Inside shot. Trope. Danger for Australia here. Trope doesn't throw the inside flick. Finney. Oh, it's a high disc. But when you've got Jack Williams there, gets on the elevator, takes it down. And the USA celebrate. They are up by 3.
Williams, the 27-year-old, one of the few people on this U.S. squad who are under 30, who was taught how to throw by his older sister, who is also his ultimate hero. Great jump in by him. He was first known in the ultimate community for only being able to run deep and catch it, which is kind of what he did here, but due to low self-esteem on the ultimate field, he almost quit, Tom. And do you know what brought him back?
Helmet.
An excellent tournament he played with a mixed team called Rellywood. His sister was on it as well, so he played that during one summer when he was back from college, and he just fell in love with the sport all over again. His current club team is the Ring of Fire, and if you like what you see, he does have a video channel with tips on improving your game, so check it out.
Jack Williams, all-star for Team USA, having a great tournament out here. 7 assists and 4 goals, and a lot of those assists will have come from just outside the end zone. He's a deep receiver, but he's been very effective, as all of the players in the USA are. They've got a very even spread of stats across the team. Tulip, again, just checking the disc as he brings it under control. A little mental reset, and pressure arrives. But the disc still comes up with Cat Phillips, who said that'd be a battle. Helton and Phillips bringing out the fireworks. Great determination, but another mistake from the from the Australians.
US with a chance to take the half. Chastain.
Chastain picks up, surveys the field, sees Mickle streaks up the line, takes the pass, resets to Normile instead. Kocher's available.
Pick call stops the play.
Tall figure of Prentice spreads the wings. Trying to find a way to stop this USA team from putting this disc in. Be a body blow if they could take the half from here. Mickle sends it. El Salam underneath, but a big block. El Salam catches the rebound. Not quite in the end zone. He flicks the knife, and it's caught by Mextroth. The USA taking down the first half with a 4-point margin. It's a dominant performance for the Stars and Stripes.
Mextroth takes the half for the US. That was just a bit too quick the way it took off there, Tom, in the second part of the game. Let's see the replay. Easy blade for the score. Meckstroth also being one of the frequent scorers for this US roster. Heroic effort by Andrews, I believe it was, getting up high.
Yeah, but he touched the disc and he didn't catch it, he didn't control it, and Khalif Al-Salam was right underneath it and cleaning it up. And a cheeky little knife into the end zone. Meckstroth free, the USA. How can Australia find their way back into this game? It's been a lot of pressure. 3 breaks up to the North Americans. And the team from down under got a mountain to climb, Raquel.
They do. But honestly, it hasn't been... It's been mostly unforced errors out of Australia, unfortunately. So if they can clean up their game, I do believe they have some defensive pressure still to put on the US. Maybe try to bring back some of the mistakes, the errors that the US have in some of the earlier games. But in any case, what I really think has been making the difference in the first half is the way the US is setting up their matchups. You can really tell that they have thought this through. They have given it a lot of thought. They're putting the right people, switching around the most dangerous players, making sure they make them tired quickly, because we have seen some of the superstars going on the line several times in a row. So that is a really good tactics employed by the US. So let's see if Australia has any more tricks up their sleeve. They are the down underdogs, so to speak. And here are some shots from the first half.
World Games, ultimate flying disc competition, the gold medal match between the USA and Australia. And ultimate flying disc is featured in the World Games for many years, but tell us about the first time it was played, Raquel.
Well, the first time it was played was in 1989 as an exhibition sport. But more interestingly, the most successful athlete of flying disc in the World Games is the most famous ultimate player in the world, I would say, Bo Kittredge, with 3 golds for the US World Games team. In any case, in 1989 was incidentally the same year as the first WCC, which took place in Cologne, West Germany.
Yes, coincidentally, that tournament is taking place in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that more in just a second, but Tulip resetting the disc mentally and then sends a big shot down the field. Phillips sprints and jumps it in at the edge of the line, sprinting away that time, getting the better of Helton. What a disc from, what an absolute bomb from Tom Tulip, and what a great start for the second half for the Aussies.
We didn't see him checking out the disc first, but he did that nonetheless. Jacks it immediately. Phillips making sure she jumps it in. She is really rising up on to the occasion. She has Helton on her. She's been giving her a hard time on defense, but we saw other defenders like Trope trying to make her life difficult on offense, but I think she likes it. I think they all actually very much enjoy it. They look like it on the field. It is a chance to shine. It is a chance to show that you're able to put up a fight against the best of the best, and it is so enjoyable to watch.
Tulip being marked by one of the best handler marks in Chris Kocher. Cat Phillips being marked by one of the best deep defenders in Kayla Helton, and they still managed to connect. That's strong from the Aussies. If we're talking about the World Flying Disc Federation World Ultimate Club Championships, you can actually watch that July 23rd to the 30th with ultiworld.com. If you want to sign up, there's 128 teams from 40 countries. Go to ultiworld.com to sign up and watch that starting from next Sunday.
And immediately a pick call stops the play.
Conversation between Freechild and Kyle O.
There'll be a bit of explaining to do.
So game advisor Rubenberg just stepping in.
Given that the discussion is taking place between these two players, I take it back that it was a pick. It seems like there was some kind of other infraction. Yeah, Dylan is actually calling stalling starting outside of the 3-meter parameter. Oh no.
And they've resolved that. Game advisor there is not a referee, able to provide rules clarification and an external perspective if it's asked for, but that's not binding. Again, we see the Australians, but pressure coming right at the start of this second half. The Australians in their zone. Goff was the target up the line, and Rob Andrews, his first impact he's had on this game. He was huge in the semi-final against Germany. Everybody knew he was going to play a part eventually, but the battle with Nate Goff has begun. Caro Ma walks it to the sideline, immediately flicks deep. Who's going to be underneath it? Oh, it's the man again, Rob Andrews, taking it down in the end zone. And a dream start to the second half for the Australians. A clean hold and a clean defensive break for the Crocs. Could we be in for a star-studded game here? Again, it's Goff, but Andrews gets on the escalator, climbs to the top floor.
Spins the disc around, and that was an amazing throw by Ma, who put the disc through the break side, curved it around high enough for Andrews, but too high for the defender. We were saying that it was going to be a great matchup between Goff and Andrews, and I'm pretty sure they're going to trade throughout this game. We saw them standing next to each other a while ago on the sideline or on the side of the field. We said Goff was 6'4", which is 193 centimeters. I thought Andrews looked a little shorter, but the few centimeters can be easily made up on the vertical when necessary.
Yes, I don't think we measure the height of these players when they're standing still, do we? It's incredible leaps, powerful legs, and real determination to get up and win those aerial battles. A great pull from the Aussies. Finds Finney to Freechild at the back of the end zone. Coming out of that space now. Again, we see the Australians in their zone, trying to prevent those quick upfield passes, but they've managed to get the disc through to Finney. Such a threat with her throws. Freechild now finds Opie Payne in the middle. Casual but successful pass. Better flow now. Americans moving down the far side.
Andrews was hanging out in the deep space, making sure nothing gets past him.
The gender mismatch, this is typical of the Australians. When they come out of their zone, they just take up the nearest player, and they're not bothered about the gender mismatch. But Goff is currently... Oh, and it's gone in from the USA. Finney was like, was that for me? I'll grab it. And completing that, the USA keeping it cool. Opie Payne with the fastest of passes, catching Finney off guard. But
she's got to laugh about that. She's having herself a heck of a game, just like she did in the semifinals. She has stated previously that her ultimate hero is Alex Snyder, a world-famous handler. But great to see that these players are now becoming role models for the next generation of ultimate players themselves.
Snyder, former World Games competitor in Cali. Well, if Australians had managed to get a little bit of momentum at the start of this second half, getting one of those 3 breaks back, the Australians recovering, the Americans getting their swagger back with a clean hold.
I'd be very interested if the Australians stick with the zone now that they're getting closer to the double digits. But first, they need to try their luck on offense.
80-minute game, or game to 13. So USA just needing 5 more to take it. Shepherd, Tulip.
Bit of sagging out of the...
I think there's a call on the play there. Everything's gone a little quiet. Prentice being marked by Normile, who taps back in. Slip
grab
from McGuckin, but Kim comes up with a disc in his hand. Prentice again. Reset to Cupcake. Tom Tulip. Zips the disc across the field. Nice around flick to McGuckin. Phillips continues the flow for Australia. Tulip. Phillips sprints across the field. Tulip gets the disc back. Runs to get the disc back. Sagging, the Americans now sagging off the handlers, just letting them throw, and a zipping hammer to the far corner. McGuckin, no mistake from the number 7 shirt this time, collects. And another clean game, clean offensive point, this time to the green and gold.
Liv Carr, what a star. Crux fans in the stands, rising high. Look at that hammer of a beauty of a hammer throw. Now that's a lovely shot to a wide open receiver. This time McGuckin makes sure he keeps his eyes on the disc, goes with the clap catch. Collected easily for Australia. They're staying close.
The Australian defensive line haven't been turned over at all, but they haven't had the disc very much. The Australian offensive line have been turned over 4 times. That's the difference between these 2 teams at the moment. The USA offensive line have only been turned over the once, and that's got to change if the Australians are going to get back into this game, Rachel.
But then again, I don't like to demonize turnovers, Tom. They can happen, and then you can get a grade D, which is going to pump up your team for the rest of the game, you know?
That's right.
They want to have a life of 2.
Free the turnovers. Free child. To Williams. Look at the space that Williams has got on the field. No mark whatsoever. Now some pressure arriving as Williams sort of dances through the Australian line. Trout. A mistake from Trout under no pressure whatsoever, has flicked it into the turf. Ladamatos. Continues the run forward for the Aussies. Gifted an opportunity here. Can they convert? Ladamatos at full stretch, at full reach. No hammer. Down the line. Better from the Aussies. Very close, lots of space in that far corner, but not willing to take the opportunity, not willing to take the chance. Darts it forward.
Phillips comes out of the end zone.
Key moments here in the game. Can the Aussies get another break back? Another hammer to the far corner. Andrews, no need to use the vertical there, just catches it at the chest height. The Aussies have got another break back. It's 8-7 here in the World Games gold medal match, and we have got a game on our hands.
What a powerful mental game out of the Aussies. Look at Ma shooting that to Andrews. She was so sure that he was ready for that throw. But like I said, Aussies sticking with that zone, and it finally bears its fruits. I think it was the right decision in a sense that I think they still had a point or two to try it out, because then most of the team really tried to resort to the tight match D and really trying the one-on-one defensive efforts, because it's the kind of easiest thing to do. Not too much thinking goes into it. You really just have to push yourself physically.
Zone has been working for the Aussies there, hasn't it?
Exactly. They have made the US think, and sometimes when you think, it just so happens that you overthink it.
Almost flawless tournament for Claire Trope, but that throwaway has cost the Aussies, cost the Americans a break, as Australia are back within one. And you get the sense it's going to be a pull that's just gone out the back corner. You get the sense that the Australians got the bit between their teeth here. They've had a stronger second half. 5 points in the second half. 4 of them have gone the way of the Australians.
Mickle picking up for the US offense.
See what a massive difference that out-of-bounds pull makes. Mickle just able to stroll up the 36 metres from the back line of the end zone to the brick mark and get the game started from there. Normile to Chastain. Flicks back to Mickle. Chastain available on the line and gets the disc now. Centres, Normile and Lindsley. Lindsley has it again. Back to Normile. Just dribbling the two of them at the moment. Lindsley threatens the deep shot and then resets around to the far side. Oh, contact made. Lindsley goes down but takes the disc with him. Continuation to Mextroth. To Lindsley. Mickle just jinking around and finding space in front of the end zone. El Salam was there, but good defence from the Aussies, preventing the pass in. Looking for Lindsley's cut now. Mickle just floats it around. Good position from Shepherd. Mickle, the front corner, and just brings that in and controls it for the USA. They hold.
That was an interesting point. Mickle at the start of it, Mickle at the end of it. Big put from Lindsley.
It was interesting how Lindsley and Mickle were just eyeing each other. They weren't really looking at the rest of the team. The two connections from Pony, the team in New York where those two players come from, and just dribbling it in to the end, into the front corner at the end. Nothing the Aussies could do to stop it.
Jimmy Mickle, as we said, usually starting off the US offense with Claire Chastain as the reset. They seem to be very comfortable working together in the handler area, but this time Mickle with the finishing touch.
Yes, Mickle, one of the very, very well-known name in World Ultimate. Played a season down under actually with Colony, last World Games cycle 2018.
With Sunder as well, actually.
Yeah, he played in the World Ultimate Club Championships with Chris Kocher. Went down there for an entire season. Played as part of Colony, and that Colony side got to the final of the World Ultimate Club Championships as well. So
Prentice planting there really well. She has improved from the other games and has been providing excellent resets for Tulit.
From Tulit. Came in to the 2017 side as an extra and then stayed for the incredible quality he provided. Now he's a standard fair in any big side. Gets the disc back from Phillips. Phillips continues the cut. There was almost a block there. Nate Goff lurking and threatening. The Australians threading the needle through the defence. Rob Andrews runs across. Swings to Phillips. Phillips threatens the down the line shot and then comes back for the ever-present Tulip. Just keeps running those reset cuts. Gann now on the near side. Freechild and Gann is a good matchup to watch, but Phillips is free again, coming out of the end zone with Trope for company. Sends it in. Who's going to be there? Alex Gann rises and brings it down, getting away from Freechild. What a game of ultimate we're seeing. Clean hold after clean hold. It's the Australians who are winning this second half, but they still trail the USA. It's 9-8 here in the World Games gold medal match, and ultimate flying discus got a spectacle.
We've talked about the throws of Cat Phillips all tournament long. They're so snappy, so much spin on them, so much energy. I was even saying that I wouldn't like to catch them because they look almost painful. But Gann, absolutely undisturbed, gets into the end zone, works the camera very casually. But Australia, again, great performance in the second half, giving us a tight game. Isn't that what we all want, Tom?
Brilliant. It was the 10th assist of the tournament for Phillips. She's been in the end zone as well. 4 goals before this game, and then another 2 in this game. The Aussie Crocs, you can see every one of the Australian sides, from the juniors to the mixed, to the women's, to the men's, to the World Games side. They all have a different Australian animal name. And the Crocs is the pinnacle of the Australian ultimate scene, taking all of the hopes and dreams of Australian ultimate with them to Alabama to compete here in the gold medal match.
US coming out in a sight stack with an isolation.
Gets it to Chastain, looks downfield, doesn't find anything, getting free. High stall count, but Normal gets it off to the sideline eventually. Kocher cuts, another high stall count. El Salam looking for something for Mickle. Gets the disc over. Brilliant reset coverage. Prevents that disc to Mickle, but it goes up the line instead. USA just keep providing the cuts.
And the Australians protect the break side.
Gets it to Helton. Helton on the inside, nice disc to Mickle. Mickle doesn't send it. Coming back, big cover, we see the gender mismatch again. Front corner, and who is it there but Claire Chastain collects for the USA. It's a hold for the USA. It's just not quite good enough from the Australians at the moment. If they can't prevent the USA from scoring, this game is going to get traded out. USA within 3 now of the gold medal.
This jump in, Tom, reminds me of the end of the semi-final where Chastain scored with a goal very similar to this one. Here is her little handshake with El Salam.
I think every different combination of USA players has got a different handshake. It's been fascinating to watch this develop. They didn't look like a complete side at the tournament, start of the tournament, Raquel. We've got to say that. They've not had the dream tournament. But
they have figured it out on the way. Currently, they have, in the last point, you saw them isolating their deep female matchups downfield, really looking for that continuation. And Australia was doing a very good job of shutting that down, hence the last score, which was actually Chastain from the handler position. But there's a lot of pressure from the Australians. I don't think they were counting in the early breaks quite so much in their tactical preparation, but still a bit of time left.
It's a game to 13. Again, we see Tom Tulip just take that moment to look at the disc, center himself mentally. And it's a big bid required. Comes up with a disc in his hand. My goodness me. Tom Tulip rescues that disc on the turf. I thought that was down, but Tulip says no. Incredible action. Reset required from Gann. Tulip's having to go back a long way. Phillips available on the far side. Perfectly placed discs for her to run onto. This is better from the Australians. They've got a threat deep. Coming under now is Gann. Goes back around again to Egan Griffiths. Phillips, good flow from the Aussies, threatening in the far corner, floats it around the back. Oh, what perfection from a flowing Australian offense. Liv Carr available with the grab.
Are we reliving the semi-finals all over again? Liv Carr with a score in the end zone. She was the one to score the last point in the Australian semi-final, and that was just the smoothest piece of offense. Look at that. It was Carr recognizing the opportunity early enough for Tulit. And first, there was some great give-and-go action at the start of the point. Completely open Phillips in the middle of the field. Provides the continuation to Tulit on the sideline. Carr recognizing the break side, being unguarded. Strikes to the back. Cone. And it's not an overhead this time, but an easy backhand.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be an overhead. The 25-year-old doctor from Melbourne, Liv Carr, was working night shifts all the way through the pandemic and squeezing in gym sessions and training solo throwing drills out on the park after a night shift before getting some sleep and then going back and doing it all over again. That sort of commitment and effort is what's required to get onto this Aussie Croc side. And, delighted to see her contributing in this gold medal match.
And if you're wondering how she started, she just wanted to meet some boys. So if you're at that point of your career, feel free to follow her footsteps because it might just get you on this gold medal podium.
Well, we all start for our own reasons. Mickle, nice floaty forward pass. Gets another good gain of yards to Lindsley, throws the big fake, and then comes inside. Mexstroth collects. Pressure from Mish Phillips. Now the other 17 shirt, Chastain, has got it a slip of the feet. And a turnover from the USA. They've been few and far between. Only the third turnover from the USA offensive line this point, this game. And every single one of them has been punished by the Aussie D-line. Can they do the same again? That would put us back on level pegging at 10 apiece. But the second half has been dominated by the Australians.
Caro Ma picks up for Australia.
Centres it to Andrews. Andrews sends it deep, Shepherd underneath. A lot of space, a great catch, and it's 10-all in the gold medal match. The Australians were trailing 7-3 at the halfway point of this game, but they have rallied hard. 3 breaks in the second half. It was 7-4, now it's 10-all. Unbelievable action, a great recovery as that disc flies through the Alabama sky with one destination in mind, Alex Shepherd's hands.
What a cannon does that man have. That was a full field shot all the way to the end zone. Huge play. Alex Shepherd, or A-Shep, as some friends and family may know him, for the score, evening out the scoreboard in this final match.
One of the players who featured in that gold medal match at the Ultimate Club Championships in 2018, alongside Jimmy Mickle and Chris Kocher. So, but interesting to see Andrews being forced out of that deep space because the Americans know that they can't let him go deep because he's so deadly and he'll get picked off. This time Andrews shows that he can do it with the disc as well. And that disc is flying high. Will it be landing inbounds? It is. Lots of time, lots of hang on the disc as Alex Ladamatos comes to cover Dylan Freechild. Freechild looking for options up the line. Oh, another turnover. Finney not able to collect in stride.
Phillips think about the quick pickup, doesn't take it.
Ladamatos threatens the hammer. Trying to find a way back. Gets it to Kyle O. Gets it back to Ladamatos. The Australians know this is a great opportunity, but they're being pushed back by big American defense, and a turnover from Freechild. Explodes through the disc and gets it back for the USA.
Huge run through D for the save.
Freechild running every other. He's going to get this back himself if he needs to. He's there again into the end zone. And, oh, that's Freechild's point, and it's a pick. Goff there, but a pick has been called, and it's going to get sent back.
Goff suspiciously free in the end zone.
My goodness me. Dylan Freechild. Determination personified. Not going to let this one go, Australia. I'm going to fight every other pass.
Another good, quick and give-and-go action. We've seen more of it out of the US team, but some out of the Aussies as well. Disc is back in play.
Into the end zone, Finney at the front cone. She taps the feet down, no doubt about it this time. It's a goal for the USA. They are edging closer to the gold medal. 11-10, it's a game to 13. The time is irrelevant. We're not going to need all those 20 minutes that remain on the clock.
Let's see the replay one more time. Phillips is there, but so is Finney. She keeps the disc in. Gets a little side bump off of her teammates. Incredible game for Carolyn Finney. 2 scores so far in this game, 2 assists.
Well, if you wanted a great game in the World Games gold medal match, then we have delivered. What entertainment, what spectacle, what drama.
We will appreciate all the thank you notes later on. Please make sure you address them to Tom Styles, the DJ, and myself, Rachel Toshnerova, your only non-native speaker on TV.
Well, it's been a real joy to bring this tournament to you. Wherever you're watching, we hope you're on the edge of your seat exactly as we are. The disc in the air. Tulip. Prentice available. Big poach off by Normile, forcing that throw. High grab required. Is there going to be some recovery? No. A touch into the turf. The crowd go wild as Williams just ushers that disc to the ground, ushers it out of bounds. It's a turnover.
Even Griffith's got a hand on that, and there was a second try, but Williams denies it. Big bid by Chastain to save the possession.
Over to the far side now. Williams not able to get that disc off. Big force from McGuckin. Now is available on the reset. Swings it out. Chastain's there. Looks deep. Finds the inside pass. Beckstroff pauses. Surveys the field ahead. Williams. Mickle darts and jives in the front corner. It's Normile for the score. The USA are within 1 of taking the gold. Brilliant work. The Australians have played the perfect second half, but in the last 2 points, they've had 2 turnovers. 1 on their defense, 1 on the offense. The Americans punishing both. Brilliant play.
Well, and Tom, I'm just going to take this opportunity to promote the newly established Discraft Fund for Retired and Veteran Disc, which allows them to live a happy life after they leave the Ultimate Fields, and also hereby thank all the World Games players who have already sent their generous charity contributions. In any case, a difficult task for Australia at this moment. It was pretty clear the moment they got it in front of the end zone that they were going to try to score through the Americans were going to try to score through the break site. It was clear where the thrower was looking, and it has been the story of the game. I think the US have been a bit more effective with exploiting the break site. In any case, it ain't over until it's over. Helton prepares for the first potential game point and puts up a pull.
Gold medal rides on this. Can the Australians score this offensive point? Tulip centers the disc, centers himself, and sends a flick upfield. It's grabbed high by Phillips, who really needed to get up and get airborne for that.
Bit of contact downfield between Payne and Liv Carr. Accepted immediately. Stall count resets with Phillips.
Julep. The crowd cheering defense, defense. They want the Americans to put this one away. The gold medal at the World Games riding on it. Flick back, the pressure from the Americans is forcing the Australians back, but a big gain of yards there. Can they find a way through? Good cut, but it was looked off, and a pick called again.
It's been a while ago, actually, so it seems like the stall count will go at 6.
Back in. Goff takes up the mark again. Floated the disc around. Good cut from McGuckin to get the disc back. Claire Trope marking Phillips. Phillips sends it. Who's going to be underneath? It's a big bid. And second time of asking at the back of the end zone. It's a goal called by Nate Goff. Incredible from Liv Carr. The disc was touched off the top of the stack.
Who's with the assist there, Tom? Who's with the assist? Liv Carr, absolute super awareness in the end zone. That was huge. Phillips saw. Here's the replay. See that again? She keeps the foot in, grabs the disc, falls out after absolutely in. She can't believe it herself.
Look at the touch. Goff with the defense. Andrews watches it drift away. But Liv Carr keeps that foot planted while she gains control. She then had dived out. She didn't know whether she was in or not herself. But Nate Goff, brilliant spirit from the Americans, calling it in with no hesitation. No need to have the discussion when the nearest player shows such brilliant awareness. Brilliant spirit from the US. In a self-officiated sport, tight moments like that can sometimes get sketchy. But Nate Goff, massive credit there.
And it wouldn't be me if I didn't point out where a man gives up, a woman comes to the rescue.
Oh, this is the most impressive performance. Cat Phillips might question her choices with that disc into the end zone with Nate Goff lurking. Rob Andrews, who was so deadly in the semi-final, couldn't bring it down. The big American taking care of business, but not quite doing enough. And the determined young Australian scores it. It's they've still got work to do.
So this is the 5th time Australia has qualified for the World Games. We've talked about their medals earlier, but they need this gold so bad. They have come back in this game despite the huge pressure from the stands. They seem ready for it, but so is the US, ready to rise up to the occasion. Another game point on our hands. We couldn't have asked for anything better than this.
The Australians took the silver in Cali in Colombia. They're a much more one-sided game. The USA took that one in the final. That time round it was 13-6. This time they've given themselves a much, much tighter game.
We see Mish Phillips passing there, the only mother on the field of this World Games final. Great, excellent empowerment for all women, having to take a break from Ultimate, showing that it is more than possible to come back. Here is the poll.
Well, USA, it's all in their hands now. Previous point, they would have had to get the disc off the Australians. Now they have it at the start of the point, and a big bid's coming in. But doesn't come up with the disc. The Americans still have it. Gets it forward to Williams. What an incredible bid that was from Sally Yu. But Chastain still connected. Lindsley now. Floating across the back line. Now it's going forward. Beck-Stroth reaches the big hand forward and grabs. Lindsley jinks up the line, gets away from Andrews, sends it into the end zone. Is this it? Williams is there. Williams collects. And the USA have won the World Games Ultimate Flying Disc gold medal. Jack Williams celebrates. It's his 2nd goal of the game. He's had 4 assists as well. An incredible performance from the 28 shirt. An incredible performance from the USA. What a way to finish. The strongest side in the end. Beaten the Australians with determination. They were 7-3 up in the first half. That's where the work got done, but they've rallied at the end of the game.
Look at all the emotions overwhelming the players. After long weeks or months of preparation. Last score of Jack Williams brings them the long-desired gold medal, and they become the victors of this Flying Disc World Games tournament.
Impressive performance from the USA. A brilliant final. The Australians fighting so hard, getting it back to 10-all in that second half with 3 breaks back. They will go home to Australia with pride about the way they've conducted themselves. Second place in the Spirit rankings as well. They've had a heck of a week to conduct themselves. Didn't win their pool, but they came out in the semi-final and played an amazing game against the Germans, and they've put up a great account of themselves in this final as well. It's been a brilliant week of Ultimate here in Birmingham, Alabama. Some of the 8 of the finest teams in the world matching up across the week. 1 game a day per team. It's been the most intense competition. And looking back at the week, Raquel, we really have seen some incredible Ultimate. Some of the best Ultimate we've ever seen. Some of the best highlights. The camera angles, the coverage from Ulti-World earlier in the week was really sensational. We see the effect that that result has had on the Australian side. Late in the sunshine, the sun goes down on the Australian hopes of taking home a gold, but their silver should be worn with real pride. The USA, the dominant force, still in World Ultimate.
We see the players exchange high fives after the finished game, showing off respect for each other and enjoying the last moments of this tournament. It's an end of an era for a lot of them. Like I said, after months of preparation, the tournament is done. The battles have been fought. They all gave it their best, entertained you, withstood the heat, the conditions, the stress, the emotion, the pressure. Australians thanking their fans in the stands, slightly outnumbered by the US viewers.
Opie Payne celebrates with the fans in the sideline. You can see how much it means to them. They had a rough start to the week, losing to a dominant powerhouse of a German side when they just didn't look like they were all on the same page. But the connections were there at the end when it mattered. But what a week it's been, Raquel. We've really had the most spectacular week of Ultimate you can possibly imagine. Kicking off in the most spectacular style with the Germans beating Canada in a game and in a result that nobody saw coming. The bottom seed beating the 4th seed in that opening game. And it was a scoreline to remember as well, 13-5. And that was just the start of things to come. A brilliant week of action. Tell me about your highlights of this week in Alabama.
Honestly, as a European, of course, I enjoyed very much the big moments of different European teams making their mark for the first time really at the World Games stage. But it's not about just the teams. It's not just about the tournament. For me, it was very much about the individuals, about the way they were able to step up into their roles, to really come up and show up for their team, show up for their country, show up for Ultimate.
The highlight reel from this final will go down for many years to come as one of the finest games we've seen. Incredible pressure, incredible resilience from the Australians coming back. But the plays, the pressure and the athleticism, oh, we see that grab from Tulit, one of the highlights. And that was just to keep the disc alive. What a week in Alabama. But in the end, there's no question about who's going home with the gold. The USA, crowned champions for another year. Crowned champions for the World Games in 2022. From Tom Stiles and Raquel Toshnerova, from all of our team, Thank you very much for watching.
Hey, just us, 2, 1, 2, just us!
Well, it's the World Games flying disc medal ceremony here from the fields of John Carroll High School in Birmingham, Alabama, after a week of ultimate, and what a week it's been. Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Raquel Toshnerova, Czech international in the women's and mixed divisions over several years, nearly 7 or 8 years of ultimate international career. And as the players take to the field, we'd just like to say a few thank yous to the various people involved in the tournament and the coverage that we bring you this week. Ulti World's technical team, led by Charlie Eisenhood and Aidan Shapiro-Leighton, on site. Hosts, Evan Lepler, Megan Tormey and Daryl Stanley, our executive producer, Tim Rockwood. The tournament has been run by Tournament Technical Director Brian Gissel and his team. And the game advisors have been doing a great job this week. Ruben Berg, Linda Kudo, Oliver Brown, Wally Kwong, Jana Hammaker and Uni Jong. Keeping the games moving. It's been a fantastically spirited tournament. As we see Australia and the USA take to the field. Our commentary team has been Hannah Pendlebury, Liam Grant, Raquel Toshnerova and myself, Tom Stiles. It's been an absolute delight to bring this action to you from the World Games.
Players are coming on the field, overcome by emotions. It is the end of a long, long preparation cycle. They have worked so hard for weeks and weeks to prepare for this one moment. And here they are at the end of it.
And before we get to the medals, let's just talk about the teams that featured outside of the top 3, starting off with 8th place, which was Great Britain.
Seeded 6th, they came into this tournament missing some players right off the start of the week. Had some unfortunate losses, but improved towards the end of the tournament, having a close game against Japan for the crossover, but then unfortunately losing on Universe against Canada.
Mr. Brian Gissel, World Flying Disc Federation Vice President and Chair of the Ultimate Committee, and Ms. Uni Jung, World Flying Disc Federation Board Member and member of the Women in Sport Commission.
The delegation taking the applause of the crowds. Nob Rao, Brian Gissel, Uni Jung.
Bronze medal, representing Colombia.
Colombians have had an up and down week. Started really strong, looking deadly until that semi-final against the USA. But they won the last match in the bronze medal, beating the Germans. They take their medals and the congratulations. Torres.
Number 8, Manu Cardenas.
The bright sparks of World Ultimate, Manuela Cardenas.
Number 10, Julio Duque.
Duque, a player returning this side.
Number 11, Alexander Ford.
As is Ford. And the Colombian men really come into their own. The women from Colombia have always been the strong point, but I think this is the tournament where, that as a side, they look like a force to be reckoned with. Just that one result that didn't go their way.
Elizabeth Mosquera.
Mosquera. And Cartagena collecting their awards as well.
Ina Paula Cartagena. Number 26, Simon Ramirez.
Simon Ramirez.
And here comes the second Cardenas twin.
Vale Cardenas.
Valeria.
Number 44, Andres Ramirez.
Andres Ramirez.
a fan favourite.
Number 56, Jose
The
Jimenez.
scoring machine, Jose Jimenez.
Number 57, Jimena Montaña.
Jimena Montaña, the latest addition to the Colombian roster, gets congratulated on her achievement.
Number 72, Jonathan Cantor.
Jonathan Cantor, without his signature mask, as a first look at his medal.
Maria Angelica Forero.
Maria Forero concludes the player roster for Colombia, finishing third.
Mauricio Moore.
Mauricio Moore, the coach of this Colombian squad, gets a hug on top of his medal. Here is the full Team Colombia.
Bronze medal goes to Colombia. Wrap up some of those other results. The Canadians finished 7th. The French started strong, but never quite got into their stride until the bracket, winning their
Silver medal.
first game in the bracket.
Australia.
Japanese finished 5th. And now we see the silver medal presentation to Team Australia.
Also known as the Crux.
The Australians with a brilliant tournament, beating France, sudden death, beating the Japanese, losing to the Colombians in the final pool game, but then coming out strong in that semi-final against Germany to book their place and guarantee that silver medal around their necks.
Sally Yu,
Sam
Kyle
McGuckin.
O, Sam McGuckin.
Number 9, Alex Prentice.
Put in a great show, the Australians. Alex Prentice collects her medal.
Number 10, Alex Gann.
Alex Gann's had a brilliant week as well, as has Mish Phillips, who collects her medal.
17, Mish Phillips.
Saw her just before the medal ceremony with her kids.
Number 19, Olivia Carr.
Liv Carr, a highlight reel maker from that final. Brilliant play from the youngster.
Number 20, Caro Ma.
Caro Ma receives her silver.
Georgia Egan Griffiths.
Georgia, or G. Egan Griffiths, has a laugh with her teammates.
Number 25, Rob Andrews.
Rob Andrews absolutely stamping his authority all over this tournament. Some fantastic aerial performances which will have caught
31,
the highlights and the attention of everyone in World Ultimate. Alex Ladamatos collects his medal.
Number 35, Kat Phillips.
Kat Phillips bringing tears to my eyes. She seems a bit disappointed, but I think she won't be once she realizes how many people she has inspired with her performance tonight.
Finished 4th in Wrocław.
Alex Shepard.
Tom Tulit, such a pivotal player for this Australian side, and Alex Shepard
Head coach Anna Ragacki.
and Anna Ragacki, the coach, who's brought this team together over 18 months of preparation. So much time of that has been spent online, building the team, building the rapport, and building a squad capable of going to the World Games and coming home.
22 champion, representing the United States of America.
And before we go to our finalists and gold medal champions, let's just finish up quickly with France taking...
France finished 6th, the Japanese finished 5th, and in that 4th place spot. Disappointment maybe for the Germans, who've been one of the brightest teams in this tournament. But let's concentrate now on the gold medal winners. Finney and Helton. Opie Payne collects her medal. One of the most even spreads of statistics across any of the teams here.
9, Dylan Freechild.
Dylan Freechild rocking his outfit on the field and now here at the medal ceremony.
Lindsley. Calmness when it needed to happen. Power and explosiveness when it needed to happen. Nate Goff has been a real bright spark for this tournament. His aerial antics will go down on record.
Number 17,
Highlight reels. Claire Chastain, ever-present defensive threat.
Number 23,
One of the most
Jimmy
distinctive
Mickle.
players in the game. Jimmy Mickle, next to her, collects his medal.
Looks absolutely humbled by the experience.
Williams.
Williams catching that final pass of the game.
I think he's collected a new highlight for his ultimate career.
Kocher.
Next one up is Chris Kocher for Team US.
Number 36, Carolyn Normile.
Carolyn Normile.
Number 37, Claire Trope.
No one will forget the name of Claire Trope after her performances this week. And we had a brilliant moment to catch up with her on the stream earlier this week as well. A real eloquent speaker about the game, about the experience.
Number 99,
Khalif El Salam, final one to collect the medal.
Sarah Meckstroth right before him.
USA head coach, Maddie Tsang.
And we finish up with the head coach, Maddie Tsang, who's done an excellent job pushing the team through the tournament, pushing them to their limits, pushing them for the final performance.
The gold medal winners from the World Games Ultimate Flying Disc competition is the USA.
And now, the anthem of the United States of America. The World Games 2022 medalists. Let's give them a big round of applause.
As you see the final standings in the sport of flying disc on your screens, you'll be pleased to know that it's only 3 years away till you get this experience once more. You get to live the moment, support your teams, and enjoy the little piece of flying plastic once more.
It's been a brilliant week. Thank you very much for enjoying the Ultimate with us from Birmingham, Alabama. The gold medal goes to the USA. And we cap a fantastic week of Ultimate Flying Disc. From Tom Stiles, from Raquel Toshnarova, from our whole team, goodbye from the World Games.